everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to EFA115 on this Thursday, July 16th. Today I want to talk about the president of Uruguay, Luis Lacalle Pou. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Luis Lacalle Pou. So Luis, Mr. President of Uruguay, Luis Lacalle Pou, did some pretty measured procedures that he put in place back when COVID came out and the world started fragmenting, and somehow they synchronized that everybody's doing the exact same thing. The ideologists are doing the exact same thing, except for leaders. There's a lot of leaders in this planet, and I've talked about women leaders and what they did in their countries, and we're going to talk about Luis Lacalle Pou, the president of Uruguay. Back in March, when he imposed a lot of the restrictions that a lot of the countries are doing, one of the things he did, he closed the borders. Well done. He closed the borders. The other thing he did, he stopped the classrooms and the public gatherings, your gyms, your public gatherings, your groups. He stopped those three things. But what he also did, he gave the freedom, here's the key to your freedom, to its people. He asked the people of Uruguay to participate in society respectfully and with guidelines. He asked them, if you don't need to go, don't go. If you can stay at home, please do. Please operate your business safely, etc., etc., etc. He put the measuring procedures in place, and he gave the keys to the freedom to the people to do so. Today, okay, I said it was Thursday, July 16th, 1,009 cases in total in Uruguay of a population of 3.5 million people. Okay, do the math. And I know that's 3.5 million. Who then compared to what, 316 million in the U.S., 36 million in Canada, 37 million in Canada, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, but do the per capita, per rate, per basis, right? They did pretty good. But that's not what I want to focus on. What they also did, listen, business people, what they also did in Uruguay as a leader, and if you remember back on my EFA back in March and April, I talked about in 1996 how correctional officers in Ontario, the province of Ontario, we gave back a large percentage of our paycheck to the administration staff and et cetera across the province, those that were on strike without pay in the essential service we gave back, and I'm pretty sure it was 40% back into the pot to make sure that everybody gets a paycheck, right? That's what they did in Uruguay, starting with Luis Lacalle Pou, the president. He took a pay cut 20% after a certain pay grade. Anybody above a certain pay grade in government in Uruguay, they all took a 20% pay cut to go back into the pot. That's what they did in Uruguay. What he also did, and what he also said about the freedom, he cannot impose onto others what he wouldn't impose onto yourself. And remember all my previous EFAs, all the people that are dictating to the businesses and how to operate their business and what to do with their business, how many people per square foot, what time they should open, what time they should close. They can't have inside, they got to be outdoors. All the money companies are spending to be outdoors, then they're giving curfews and what time they got to close. All that kind of stuff, all that ideology, right, are all being done by people on full pension, full benefits, and full salaries. The businesses that are being dictated by those on full pension, full benefits, and full salaries. Yet, the president of Uruguay said, I can't do that. I can't consciously do that. I can't dictate to others what I can't do unto myself. That's what he basically said, right? I'm not going to impose onto others. What kind of human being would I be if I'm imposing onto others what I can't do onto myself, right? Like that whole mentality of do as I say, not as I do. He didn't do that. A lot of ideologists, leaders do that in a lot of places around the globe right now. There's a lot of very good leaders that led by example. The very good leaders like Luis Lacalle Pou from Uruguay, president of Uruguay, led by example, led as a leader, took a pay cut himself, asked his party to take a pay cut, the government people 20% across the board, back into the pot, did not close businesses down, asked them to operate respectfully, asked everybody to abide, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hence, the proof is in the pudding, 1,009 cases out of 3.5 million people. Pretty good, right? All done respectfully, all done with freedom. And what he also said, and this is, and I think I said this back in March and April, there would be no government without businesses. He recognized on the offset that right up front that there would be no government without businesses. I can't destroy the businesses. I can't take them apart. I can't shut them down. I can't lock them down. They what makes the government goes round. And if you look at Ottawa, what was it, $1 million a day they were losing in Ottawa, Canada, the province, the capital of Canada? They were losing $1 million a day. That's just our little city. Our little grain of sand amongst the world's beaches here was $1 million a day. right? Why? Because they affected a lot of businesses, a lot of people, a lot of money coming in. That's what they did. And also they weren't getting revenues from tickets and fees and parking and blah, 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 right? Anyways, I don't want to get into it. It's actually very, very sad. And it's what's even sadder. What's even sadder is those nations, all those left-wing nations that for the last 10, 20 years have been ripping apart the fabric of everything that was built and giving soapboxes and microphones to those that don't have the knowledge, training, and experience. And look at all those nations now. They're being destroyed. I watched a video today from an aerial view of this courier truck showing up like ants coming out of buildings. Like literally, there's nobody there. That vehicle wasn't even there about 10 seconds, and it's just being stripped apart, literally emptied, and then they disappear. They're gone. Like I don't know if they're hiding behind every building out there, but imagine owning a house, owning a business, going to school, living in that community in all those areas. Like my heart, literally my heart goes out to all those families and all those businesses and all those individuals that have worked so hard to what they have, and then to have it taken away from them, their communities, their everything. Could you imagine walking down those streets? Could you imagine going to your grocery stores in those areas? Beautiful areas, beautiful established neighborhoods that were just, and all those mayors and ideologists, they're going to be out there with their hands. You guys owe us to help us. We want 500 million. We want $1 billion. We want this. We want that. We want you to rebuild for us, right? All those individuals with great ideas with other people's money. They're going to be looking for handouts now. And then they're going to go after all those businesses. We need to raise your fees and your taxes to rebuild your city that you're going to help us with because we need your money. That's what's going to happen. They're going to go and leech and suck on a tit, pardon my language, of the business society so that they can continue with their ideology while destroying the fabric of their nations. And then you guys have presidents like in Uruguay who led by example, right? Again, Mr. Lacalle Pou, 100% respect, 100% respect what you've done for the people of your nation. Well done, sir. Jean-Guy Bourguignon, EFA 115.